Hello everybody and welcome to the chapter one of components of Earth planet, inshallah, in geology. Okay. Firstly, we will make a feedback to the previous session. The previous session we was talking about the geology and the types of science of geology, but now we will inshallah talk about components of Earth planet. So the Earth planet includes some types or some parts. We will inshallah talk about or study the part in details. Let's go. This is Earth's surface. Where we live. Where we live. This is the crust. So the upper part of the Earth is what is crust. Okay. Secondly, upper mantle and mantle. Okay, this is upper mantle and mantle, or these are mantle. Okay, outer core, inner core, and we will inshallah talk about them. Okay, firstly we will talk about crust. We will talk about crust where we live on. Where we live on the crust is the outermost. So the outermost thin shell layer. So the or the most thin, or the thinnest shell layer of the earth. It varies in thickness. Why, miss? Varies in thickness. This is continental thickness or continental tectonic plate. We will inshallah teach it in details. It is thickness. Its thickness differs than this. This ocean plate. So it has what it has in thickness, but this is has a higher thickness. Okay, this has higher thickness. Okay, this is continental thickness or continental plate tectonic, and this is oceanic plate tectonic. Okay, let's go. Being thin under open seas and ocean ocean from 8 to 12 kilometer 8 to 12 kilometer, consisting of basalt rock. We will inshallah study it in the chapter of rocks, which is called sima. So the rocks, or the layer under the ocean, under oceans, its thickness is 8 to 12 kilometer, and it is called sima. 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 These two letters. This first two letter of silica. Silica is a matter, or material, is a material on the earth, and magnesium, Ma. So is this plate rich with silica and the magnesium, and about 16 kilometer under continent consists of granitic rocks, which is Sial, silica, and aluminum or aluminium. Okay, from 8 from 8 from Bismillah, from 8 to 12. Okay, this name is what, or is it is called as Sial. Sial. Si from silica. Silica and Al Al is not sorry. Cl in this, not okay. Sorry, I okay. This is yes. This is easier. Sima, okay. The first is I. The first is I. From what? From silica. From what? From silica. Okay, and Ma from magnesium. Okay, and its thickness is from or extends from 8 to 12. 8 to 12. But in this layer is continental layer, which means Cl, Cl, silica, has silica and aluminium. Okay. Okay, let's go. And about 16 kilometer under continents consist of granitic rocks. Granitic rocks. We will, inshallah, or we shall, inshallah, study the types of rocks in details. In details, inshallah, rocks or petrology in rocks chapter بإذن الله, which is Cl, silica, and aluminum. The crust rock are igneous sediment. Igneous, firstly, igneous crust. So the crust rocks are these three types. This is three types. Igneous, firstly, igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. And what? And metamorphic. Okay. Although the difference in density between Cl and Sima, the density is so different, crust is always in which is known as isostatic equilibrium. Okay, so we have isostatic equilibrium instead of, or although the difference of density between them. Okay, let's go. We finished. We have finished the crust, and we will talk about in details in the fall, inshallah, on the following sessions. But we will talk in short, no, and shortly. We talk shortly about mantle. Okay, the mantle. We will, inshallah. This is mantle. This is mantle under the crest. This is mantle. We will talk about it shortly in this chapter or in this session, but we will talk about them in details after or on the following session. The mantle forms more than 80% of the volume. 80% of what? Of the volume. Okay? Of the volume of what? Of the earth rock, and extends from the base of the crust, the bottom of the crust, the bottom of the crust. This is crust. Okay, and the bottom of the crust we start, or we start the mantle start. Okay, at depth 2,900. 900. Okay, it composed of iron, iron, and magnesium. Silicon oxide, SiO, okay, in the form of solid rocks, except the upper part of mantle, ascensosphere. Okay, ascensosphere, and this is the lower part. These solids, or this, sorry, or these salts accumulate on the rocks. Okay, with a thickness reach about 316 kilometer, which is partially molten and elastic rocks. This molten and elastic rocks because of heat or hot temperature, which behaves as a fluids under certain condition resulting from pressure and temperature, because pressure and temperature let them forward, let them know hard, that allow for spread convection current, which permits the different drifting of condition above. Any cracks, the fluid go to the upper go to the upper or to the crust, because of earthquakes, because of volcanoes especially. Okay, then this fluid, or this fluid rocks solidified and turns into solid rocks or hard rocks. Okay, and we will inshallah talk about it on the following sessions. The core core is the deepest part, or the innermost zone of the earth, with a radius of about 3,486. Imagine that is the earth, this is the earth, that is the earth. Okay, this is the mantle, and this is the core. Core's radius is 3,486. Okay, it is forms about 1/6 of the earth by volume, but being composed of material with very high density. It forms about one sixth of the earth by volume. Okay, but being composed of material with very high density. Okay, the material where the core exists has or have the most density, or very high density. The pressure there is very high, reaches about millions of atmospheric pressure. The pressure there is very high, reaches about millions of atmospheric pressure. Atmosphere or pressure is high because of all of that, and the hydrosphere, all of that stand on it, but that makes high pressure, high pressure, and temperature more than 5,000 Celsius. Okay, the studies that obtain the scientists when they analyze the seismic waves. These waves appears after earth or causes earthquakes. These waves causes what? Causes earthquakes. Earthquakes. So the waves which causes earthquakes is seismic waves that spread through the Earth's zone during the occurrence of earthquakes. Okay, during the occurrence of earthquakes, help greatly in determining that the Earth's core could be divided into two parts. So the scientists, so the scientists know about the material exists in the core. From where? From from what? From earthquakes, because seismic waves make some cracks, and the material expels out to the crust. So from this material we can determine what the core contains. Okay, the core is divided into outer core and inner core. So let us imagine it. Let us imagine it. This is the crest and this is the mantle. Okay, excellent. And this is the core. This is the core. This is outer core and this is inner core. Okay. With a thickness about 2,100 kilometer and consists mainly of molten iron. This is what? This is outer core. So outer core with a thickness about 2,100 kilometer, consisting mainly of molten iron. So outer core has molten iron and nickel and stands under pressure 3 million atmospheric pressure, and with a density reaches about 10 gram per cubic centimeter. 10 gram per cubic centimeter. This is the density of outer core and 3 million atmospheric pressure. So the iron and the nickels, and so let's go to study inner core. Inner core consists of a very density, about a very high density, about 14 gram per cubic centimeter, and with a radius of 1,386 kilometers. The scientists were able to explain the origin of magnetic field. So the magnetic field of the Earth should be generated from the presence of outer core that composed of molten material revolves around the rocky solid's inner core. So the inner core is what is solid, and some groups of scientists thought that the magnetic field generated by generated from the outer core. Okay, because of molten materials like iron and nickel. Iron and nickel are magnetic material. So the Earth is or has gravity. The Earth so the Earth has a gravity. Let us make a review. Imagine that is the Earth. Okay, and the Earth's surface is a crust. Okay, and from inside to outside, this is inner core involved by outer core. Okay, inner core is solid, but outer core is what is fluid, has iron and nickel, which are magnetic, which are magnetic materials, makes gravity of the Earth. Okay, or some scientists thought the gravity of the Earth is result from the material as a magnetic material on the outer surface. Okay, and this is the mantle. This is what this is the mantle. This is the mantle, and this is the crest. This is the crest with low thickness. With low thickness is oceanic tectonic plate. Okay, but with the higher thickness is continent plate. Okay, so what's the meaning of atmosphere? Atmosphere, the air involves around the earth. Okay, that 1 second please. Okay, this atmosphere, this is what this is atmosphere. Okay, so the air involved, or the air enclosed of the earth. The scientists think that during formation of earth plants, several elements of chemical compound which were in contact with molten materials to remain in their gaseous state, forming later in time our atmosphere, which gets as high 100 kilometer above the Earth's surface. So this is Earth's surface, and after 100 kilometer, this is atmosphere. All of that is atmosphere, and the element of atmosphere is composed from the earth's formation, okay, which were in contact with molten materials to remain their gaseous state, forming later to time to our atmospheric, which get as high 100 kilometers above the earth's surface. Then the air density and also atmospheric pressure decrease as we go higher. So if we go higher, the density of air becomes low, to be low as 1/2 of its value of our for every 5.5 kilometer high, till it vanished at higher altitude. What is the meaning of that? I will explain it. Bismillah. The air density and also atmospheric pressure decrease as we go higher from the air surface. This air imagine that is this air surface, okay, of its value for every 5 kilometers, 5.5 kilometers. What is the meaning of that? The value of the value is density, okay, has decreased as 1/2. Okay, the main constituents of atmosphere in volume are nitrogen and oxygen 21. Okay, but the main constant is in nitrogen 78 of atmospheric and oxygen 21, and other gas with a percentage doesn't exist, and other gas like carbon dioxide and so on, xenon, radon, don't exist 100. The most important of them is hydrogen, helium, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, and so on. Variable amount of water vapor, carbon dioxide, and ozone. It can be also noticed that the ratio of oxygen increases and becomes less and less higher altitude, which gives a human being a state of suffocation at high altitude. What's the meaning of that? The hydrogen has a higher density, has a higher density. So as its higher density, so it is concentrated on the lower part of atmosphere. Concentrated of the lower part in the atmosphere. So, or where human lives. Where what, doctor? Where human lives, or where living organisms lives, because living organisms need to oxygen for respiration, for combustion, and plant make respiration to take oxygen and respiration of plants. Okay. Secondly, okay. Finally, we inshallah talk about hydrosphere. As a previous session, we talk about the hydro. What's the meaning of hydro? Yes, exactly. That's mean water. Okay, that that contains what, contains water on the earth, uh, water on the earth, like ocean and ocean and rivers and seas. During and after the formation of solid earth and atmosphere, tremendous amount of water vapor that already present due to eruption of old volcanoes had been extremely condensed, resulting heavy rains which fell on the land to fill the gaps, and large basins had formed on the surface during the solidification of the Earth's surface, forming hydrosphere. So, what's the meaning of hydrosphere? During and after formation of solid earth, solid earth and atmosphere tremendous amount of water vapor. The water vapor already present due to eruption of all the volcanoes, these volcanoes, and make eruption. The water vapor was condensed on anything, or making heavy condensed and making heavy rains that makes what, that makes oceans and seas. Okay, on what, on basins, يبقى large large gaps making basin. Okay, raining falls in it falls in it make it fold. That's what, that's sea or ocean had formed on the earth during solidification earth's surface, forming hydrosphere. So this is hydrosphere. So any water in the on the Earth's surface is called hydrosphere. Hydrospheres includes all water of the seas and oceanic basins, rivers, lakes that covers about 72% of the total surface of the area of the Earth, including the underground water, okay, which fills pores space in the rocks. The crust is the crust, and this is the rocks, and this is the rocks. Between rocks, there's water. Between rocks waters exist. This water is called underground water. This is called underground water. The hydrosphere surrounds the Earth from all sides, forming what is known as sea level. So this sea level, with this sea level will measure anything starting from it. Okay, which internationally recognized and all high of different topographical features. Topographical features. What's the meaning of topographical? Topography that mean the high of the earth, or like plateaus, like mountain and so on. If I want to measure the high of mountain, I should start from the point on the sea level, and then the high, or the most high point of the mountain. Okay, because sea level is equal. Sea level is what is equal. Imagine that is the sea, and this is a mountain. I want to measure the mountain. Measure the height of the mountain. I measure this from this point into this point of the sea level and into the highest point. Then I can obtain the height of the mountain.